Right now, without moving your head, look at the clock. Whatever time it says, subtract 7 hours. That is roughly when your brain started getting ready for tonight, not when you get into bed. 7 hours ago. Most of what goes wrong with sleep after 35 happens long before you lie down, and almost nobody talks about that part. But first, the thing you have probably already seen. There is a headline going around that says your brain starts eating itself when you do not sleep enough. Cells inside your head chewing through your own connections, night after night. It sounds like something invented for clicks. It is not. There is a real study behind it, published in the Journal of Neuroscience in 2017, and I read it so you do not have to. Here is the part the headline leaves out. The study found something more interesting than damage. And once you know what it actually says, the real problem turns out to be somewhere else entirely. Somewhere most people never look. Stay with me, because the fix for it takes about 90 seconds a day. The researchers took mice, young mice, and that matters, so hold on to it. They split them into 4 groups. 1 slept normally. 1 stayed awake on its own. 1 was kept awake for 8 hours. And 1 was kept short on sleep for about 5 days. Then they looked at the brain cells called astrocytes. In the sleep-deprived mice, the astrocytes were eating more synapses. That part of the headline is true, but look at which ones they ate, not the weak connections, the big ones, the heavily used ones. And that changes everything because that is not destruction. That is maintenance. The researchers say so themselves. Their word for it was housekeeping. Recycling worn parts of the connections you used hardest that day. They even wrote that the cells might be doing it to prevent damage, not cause it. So no, your brain is not eating itself. It is cleaning up after you. It does that every single night, whether you sleep well or badly. Now, the part that should actually worry you. The astrocytes did their thing after 8 hours without sleep and after 5 days of short sleep. Same behavior, no difference. But a second type of cell, the microglia, behaved completely differently. After 1 bad night, nothing. After 5 days of not quite enough sleep, they switched on. They pulled in their branches, they started eating more, and they did it with no sign of inflammation anywhere, which means nothing about it would show up if you went and got tested. The researchers used a word I keep thinking about. They said chronic sleep loss may prime the microglia. Leave them idling, ready to overreact to whatever comes next. 1 rough night is not the problem. A month of 6 hours might be. And before you take that too far, remember what I said at the start. This was mice. Young mice. Nobody has run this experiment on a 40-year-old, and anyone telling you otherwise is selling something. But we do have human data on what happens to deep sleep with age. And honestly, it is worse than most people expect. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed men across their whole adult lives and measured how much of the night was spent in deep, slow-wave sleep. Between 16 and 25, it was about 19% of the night. Between 36 and 50, it was 3.4%. That is not a decline. That is a collapse. Around 82% of your deep sleep gone. And for most people, it happened before they ever noticed anything was wrong. The same study tracked growth hormone, which your body releases mostly during that deep sleep. It fell in step. And evening cortisol, the thing that keeps you wired at 11 at night, started climbing after 50. Here is the part nobody puts in a headline, and it is the reason I wanted to make this video. They also measured men between 71 and 83, and deep sleep did not keep falling. It had already found its floor decades earlier and stayed there. Think about what that means. The big loss is behind you. It happened in your 20s and 30s while you were busy with other things. So whatever is going wrong with your sleep right now, at 40, at 50, it is probably not your age doing it. Your age already did its damage and stopped. What is left is the stuff sitting on top, and that stuff you can move. Your body does not fall asleep because it is tired. It falls asleep because it gets cold. Core temperature has to drop about 1 degree for sleep to start properly. If it does not drop, you lie there being tired without being asleep, which is a very specific kind of misery. Now, the counterintuitive bit. The fastest way to cool down is to warm up first. A warm shower pulls blood toward your skin. When you step out, all that blood is sitting near the surface, dumping heat into the room. Your core temperature falls faster than it would have on its own. Researchers at the University of Texas went through more than 5,000 studies on this and pooled the good ones. Water between 40 and 42 degrees Celsius. 1 to 2 hours before bed. People fell asleep about 10 minutes faster. 10 minutes does not sound like much. Do it every night for a year, and it is 60 hours of sleep you are not getting. The timing is the whole thing, though. Right before bed does not work. You need the hour after the shower for the heat to leave. Shower at 9, sleep at 10. You already know coffee too late is bad. You almost certainly do not know how late is too late. In 2013, researchers gave people 400 milligrams of caffeine, roughly 2 or 3 cups, at 3 different times, right at bedtime, 3 hours before, and 6 hours before. 6 hours before bed. 2 in the afternoon for a 10 o'clock bedtime, the kind of coffee nobody would think twice about. It cost them more than a full hour of sleep that night. And here is the part that gets me. When you asked them how they slept, they said fine. They could not feel it. The sleep monitor could, and it was gone anyway. That is why this one is worth taking seriously, even if you are sure caffeine does not affect you. Everybody is sure. The measurement disagrees. I am not going to tell you to quit coffee. Put the last one before 2 in the afternoon and leave the rest of your life alone. This is the one people argue with me about. A drink in the evening does make you fall asleep faster. That part is real, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But falling asleep faster and sleeping better are 2 different things, and alcohol only does the first one. Alcohol is a sedative. Sedation is not sleep. It knocks out the first half of the night reasonably well, then your body finishes processing it and the second half falls apart. You wake at 3 and cannot explain why. REM sleep, the part that handles memory and mood, gets pushed out of the way. That 3 in the morning thing people describe, that is usually this. You do not have to stop drinking. Move it earlier and stop treating the nightcap as a sleep aid, because it is doing the opposite of what you hired it for. The last one is the least fun, which is why it is last. Pick a wake-up time and keep it, including Saturday. Your body runs on a clock that gets set by when light hits your eyes in the morning, not by when you go to bed. Sleep in until 11 on Sunday, and you have just given yourself the same problem as flying 2 time zones west. Monday night you will not be tired at 11, and Monday night is exactly when you need to be. Get up at the same time. Get outside, or at least get to a window within the first half hour. You do not need an hour of it. A few minutes of real daylight does more than a lit room ever will. And here is why I put this 4th instead of 1st, even though it probably matters most. It is the hardest one to keep. If you try to change all 4 tonight, you will keep none of them by Sunday. So, back to where we started. Your brain is not eating itself, it is doing maintenance, and it does that anyway. What the research actually points at is quieter. Weeks of not quite enough sleep leave something switched on that should be switched off, and you would never feel it happening. 4 things, move it. Warm shower an hour or 2 before bed. Last coffee by 2. Alcohol earlier, not later. Same wake-up time. 7 days a week. Pick one. Not 4. 1. Give it 3 nights and pay attention to the middle of the night rather than the morning, because that is where the change shows up first. Fewer wake-ups before you notice anything about how you feel at breakfast. Every study I mentioned is linked below. And I want to be straight with you about the mouse thing one more time. That study was mice. And the leap from a mouse to you is a real leap, not a small one. The human numbers I gave you, the 82%, the caffeine, the shower, those are from people. I am not a doctor. If your sleep has been bad for months, that is worth taking to someone who can actually examine you, not to a stick figure on the internet.